and we have recording in progress. And that was the whole theme of his State of the Company. So we played that in honor of family reunion that most of us on this call, or some of us, just came back from. Our first guest that we're going to hear from is going to give us a little bit of his insight on what he took away from family reunion, our annual convention at Keller Williams. Before we do that, I will introduce myself and hand it over to the other ladies. My name is Jen Bovey. I am the area director for the New England region, also an operating principal in Rhode Island, and I'm here with...
I am Brooke Silva, your regional technology trainer. And then wherever she is she to my left? She's right. Where's Tiffany?
To your right on my world. I'm Tiffany Hampton. I am a MAPS coach, and I am also the regional productivity coach for KW New England.
So welcome everybody to our Make Money Monday calls. And I'm excited that we have Pete on the call with us. Pete did just come back from Las Vegas with us as well. And he was able to experience family reunion, not only like everybody else, yet he was also included in what's called the IALC, which is our International Associate Leadership Council. And he was in that meeting. So I asked if he would come on and share a little bit of his insight from family reunion, a takeaway, and maybe a little bit about that meeting. Pete, welcome to the call.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm gonna do my best. We were stuck in the Vegas airport for 48 hours trying to get out, but made it home last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. So bear with my voice, and I'll try to do the best I can. So you want me to just go into it, or?
Yeah, let's just hear your big... I didn't know that you were stuck in the airport for 48 hours, so sorry.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us your biggest takeaway from family reunion, and then anything from the IALC meeting that you want to share with the group?
Yeah, I would say my biggest I'm a commercial agent, so we had different breakouts than anybody else. But the class that I enjoyed the most was like large multifamily underwriting. Opened my eyes to a couple more tools that I can add to my toolbox to be able to assess those properties at a higher level. So that was great. I think ultimately, I think this is my third family reunion. Took me a while getting to them. I swear by them for a couple reasons, but the networking is huge. Getting to know everybody throughout the region and throughout the country has helped me elevate my business to another level in the last couple of years. And just being there and people recognizing me and coming up and talking to me just shows that the work I've been putting in is working. I did hang out with a lot of agents from my market, residential agents from my market center. And the thing that they kept saying over and over again is the people that were teaching that were at a high level in their business, the one thing they had in common was the systems and models that they were teaching, and they just stick to them. And I just thought that was because there was like 2 agents that were 2 years in, and agents that have been here for like 15 years that had never been a family and never put those correlations together. So it was neat seeing how all the residential agents were coming back and just being like, I need to get into my systems and models. And it was great to see that that was one of the big things they got out as a residential agent.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because that's what I see over and over again, is that we try to overcomplicate our business, when if we just focus on the model that is right in front of us and we focus on less more. I think that was a big we heard that a lot throughout family reunion. If we just focus on less more, wow, like what could change, and the stages that you'll be on, right? That's what we hear a lot. The people who are on stage say, I did it my way first, and for some reason it just didn't work, and then I followed this model, this red book that we all get given here at Keller Williams, and whoa, it actually worked, right?
Yeah,
all right,
sure.
Pete, anything else you want to add for the IALC before we jump into our next guest?
Yeah, so this was my second year, my final year in the IALC. Last year, I'm sure everybody was aware, it was definitely a little bit more tumultuous with the voting. This year was more getting caught up on business at hand, but they did talk a lot about Next Gen, which was the KW Kids Cares has now morphed into Next Gen, and I'm excited for that. if you guys see things coming out, take a look, see how you can help out there, because they've built a 3-tier model system where, you know, there's training. It's not just let's dump money into issues. It's training and kind of built off Quantum Leap, I think, in a way. Training, mentorship, and then placement and scholarship. I think I have those lined up right. But it's just great to see something that was doing good already is now being elevated to something better. And I hope to see that my market center in the region kind of jumps in together and trying to propel this into to what it could possibly be, because it's pretty amazing.
I have to agree with you. The next gen world is our next generation, and we should be pouring into them. And it's great that we have the tools to be able to do that. So thank you for mentioning that, Pete.
Yeah, and I think just the other thing, I think with the IALC, I think everybody should be aware of it and understand the power of it. The reason there was votes last year was because regional ALCs brought things of their concern to the table, and I think if there are concerns or improvements that we want to make, there is a path to do it. So be engaged with your local ALC and your regional ALC and make sure your voice is heard. And if there's something going on that we need to improve, then sitting back complaining about it's not going to do it, but addressing it through the channels we have, which we're lucky enough to have. Do it. Reach out to me if you need anything. Reach out to your ALC at your market center, or come see us in Connecticut when we're down there celebrating in a couple of weeks, all the great things that people have done over the last year.
Love that. So if you don't know what he's talking about, on March 26th and 27th, we are having the New England Mastermind and Awards at Foxwoods in Connecticut. So I'm sure in the next few minutes, either myself, Tiffany, or Brooke will drop in the information for that event. Tickets are on sale now. It's going to be wonderful keynote speakers that we're solidifying as we speak, and breakout sessions with hot topics like buyer representation, how to get paid. We're having all of those conversations, and production breakouts as well. So you definitely don't want to miss it. And then on top of that, we're going to be acknowledging some really great associates who had phenomenal businesses in 2023. And you know what? Rubbing elbows with those top achievers is never a bad idea for referrals and beyond. So Pete, thank you so much. You set that up perfectly. Now go get some rest.
All right. You guys have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Brooke, Tiffany, passing it over to you.
All right, so we have our next guest, David and John. Can you raise your, there you are. Hi guys, welcome.
Hey Brooke, thanks so much for having us on.
Now you guys are here to speak to us today about your blueprint. And I'm going to let you both introduce yourselves and kind of cue up what we're going to talk about. Now gang, there's still social media, but because it's the Monday after family reunion, we wanted to bring you so much value. The social media is there. I promise you'll get the link, but we may go long on this one. And I want to make sure the guys have enough time for this. So I will put the link out there, but don't fear, okay? I know you're all panicking. Kelly, I see your face. I promise it's there, okay? We usually give them all their social media for the week. They're still getting it. We just may not talk about it. So David, John, away you go. Tiffany and I will hop in with any questions as we get going.
Awesome. And before we get started, am I allowed to share my screen so I can just go through a few slides with you guys?
Let me see. Jen, can you stop sharing yours? That's the only reason I think we can't. I can't. There we go. Go for it.
Awesome. Can you see my screen now?
We can.
Amazing. So John is here with me. He's our marketing director of a number of our real estate companies. And I appreciate you guys having us on. I'm just going to take, just for housekeeping, I want to honor your time. What do you think, 25 minutes or so, Brooke?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, if you guys, I'm going to try to bring as much value to you guys as I can. And this is all about the Database Touch program. And it comes off the tail of what you guys were just talking about, the Red Book. And first, I'm going to just share about 3 minutes of my story and who I am, just so you can get to know me a little bit. And then we're going to go into why our Database Touch program changed my life and my family, and is the first in a line of dominoes that changed my business. And then we're going to give you a blueprint for our real estate team's 60 Touch program that you can copy, and you can have it and you can use as your own. You can either use the whole thing if you're building a team, or you can use elements of it. And you can take screenshots of this, and we're an open book. So you can ask questions, you can follow up with me afterwards, and we'll share any of this with you that would be helpful. The other thing in this training that I'm going to share with you, because there's 2 trainings in the next 25 minutes, aside from my Team 60 Touch database program, which you can steal, I'm also going to give you a 26-page blueprint, which whenever we do these trainings, we've been doing it for about 15 months, twice a month. There's always 2 people in the audience. One is people who run a PC program or a team or are building a team, and they may have a budget to do what my team does. The other is somebody who is just starting out and doesn't have a big budget to run a database touch program yet. And we're going to give you a 26-page blueprint that we give to all of our agents in the market centers that I own and our new agents on the team to get them started in the first year. So you're going to get both of those by the end of the training. All right, so if you can see my screen, 60 Touch Blueprint, I'm going to go through just a little bit about me. So I am not a real estate agent anymore. I used to be for about 20 years. I got started about 2002. I haven't met with a client in about 6 years, and my real estate team is one of 8 real estate businesses that I own. The reason I love this training is because a lot of people come to me and they're not so concerned about, I mean, my team isn't the biggest team in the ecosystem, does about 350 transactions a year. But they're curious about how I'm just a shareholder in all the businesses. And I got to business ownership and just meet with a CEO once a month for 45 minutes. And then have all the rest of the month in free time. And they're like, how do you have a, 30-some% profit business and other people run it? And my answer is always the same. It started with the touch system that allowed us to build a business that is by referral. And it's a super high return business, return on investment. And that's the crux of this training, is that if I wouldn't have started that system, that database touch program, I'm certain I would have been living in just sort of the stress of the first 10 years of my career. So that's what this is about. And you can see here the agenda for today, which I just went over. So that's me probably 15 years ago, back when you'd put a sign in yourself, and I had like a hammer on my belt. You could see there, that was to I had a 2x4. And you would hit the sign with the hammer, and it would bend and break, and it was a whole mess. If you've been in the business a while, you remember actually taking pictures with a camera like that, which was really strange. So those were the old days. I started out going door to door for 3 years, and I was all prospecting based. And my answer to everything was work harder, to the point where it became unhealthy. I was sleeping under my desk. My relationship with my wife was unhealthy, and I was burning out. And that's when I decided to quit real estate. In the midst of that, and my faith's really important to me, some prayer, I stumbled across the Red Book and this 36 touch program, which I've turned into a 60 touch program. And so that's the crux of what we're going to talk about. That's a picture of a headache. If you've never seen a headache, that's what one looks like. That's when I started getting migraines from overwork and burnout when I was in my 20s. I'm 43 now. And back then, my business looked pretty good. I was doing about 12 million in sales. After expenses and everything, I was netting about 250,000. And in the sales business, not the brokerage I was running, I was working about 60 hours a week, so about $80 an hour. And that business didn't have a give back program, which we're going to talk about today. I always say that business sucked my soul out of me, and I ended up having a lot of health problems because of it. As you fast forward to last year and the year before last year, that same business last year netted 800,000. The year before it was a little over $1 million. And I just spend 1.5 hours a month in that business in one meeting, and it is $44,000 an hour. It serves me at a much higher level, and we're allowed to. We gave 100,000 to people in financial crisis by partnering with our database in that business. And so we're going to talk about how to have a touch program with your database where you partner with them to give back to people who are suffering in the community, and how that can really change the heartbeat of why we wake up in the morning. So So a little bit about me, why the database matters, just touch on 4 quick things, and then I'm going to give you the blueprint, which you could take screenshots and everything. So the first is that it has pre-built trust, which I'm going to show you a slide. It's probably the most powerful slide in here. And if you're running a team or PC program or you're a new agent, I'd really like you to stop on the next slide and take a picture of it, because we've changed more agents' lives with that slide than any other one on here. The next is because of pre-built trust, it does have, out of our 21 lead sources in our team, it has the highest return on investment. So you'll see for every dollar I spend in the database, we get $31 back. All of our other lead sources are between $1 back and 13. So it's exponentially higher return. The math really works. It's different than the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Red Book, which was 2 in 12 convert. For us, it's lower than that. So be fully transparent. For every 10 people we have in our database, we get 1 sale that converts that we can attribute to the Database Touch program. But it's very predictable business for us. And it's not subject to prices of paid leads and other things like that. And the last one, when we have that first domino in our business, every other lead source around that touch program, the return is amplified. So previously, we couldn't get a return on things like social media or radio advertising or even paid leads. We struggled to get a really good return with me completely out of the business. But when we have the database as the core of our business, and that audience is seeing all of our other lead sources in the community, we're able to amplify the returns exponentially. So first slide, this is the one that is really, really helpful. And this is the one that really changed my life when I was going to quit real estate, is this next picture. So it's going to stop on this one, and then we'll zip through the rest of them. So if you want to take a picture of it, you can. If you're encouraging other people on your team or in your brokerage to go deep on your database, this should do it. So when I was going door to door for 3 years, what I learned when I was 23 years old is that it took me about a year of going door to door to get the phone to ring and to actually serve families' real estate needs. I tracked everything. I'm sort of insane about tracking. And what I learned is that on average, I had to put in about 5 hours of interaction with each person in the 3 farms I was door knocking in before they would know me, like me, and trust me. Let me say it again. On average, over 3 years, I built a database of people who knew me, liked me, and trust me, of 250 people in 3 neighborhoods. But in order to get their notes right and interact with them and follow up and send a handwritten thank you note, it took me about 5 hours of interaction before I could call them a Met. The whole goal, as you'll read in the MREA book, of a database touch program is not to convince your Mets to buy or sell a home with you. The goal is that when your Mets have a life change happen to them, they have empty nesters, they get pregnant and expand their family, they get a job relocation. When they have life change happen to them, 76% of them will use the first agent that comes to their mind. The goal with our Mets is simply to give them enough value in a high enough frequency so that when they have life change at the same percentage as the rest of the population in the United States, your phone rings because you are the person they think of first. That's it. That's the goal. It's not to hustle them. It's not to work them over. It's not to convince or persuade them. It's to drip value on them for free and come from contribution. So when they have life change at the same percentage as the rest of the country, 76% of them use the first agent that came to their mind. So it's about purchasing their mind share, not market share, their mind share with value. What I learned is that it took me about 5 hours per person to get to that point. Now, here's the crazy thing that was the aha that changed my entire life. There was nothing wrong with going door to door for 3 years. But if on average it took me 250 people at 5 hours, you can see it on there in the second bubble, it's 1,250 hours. And I was earning about $83 an hour back then. So I spent and invested $103,000 of my time. $103,000. Nothing wrong with going door to door. That's how I started my career. But I invested $103,000 of my time. The aha was, it was a really expensive lesson that I already had in my mobile phone, in my Facebook friends, stored in my email server of all the people that I had emailed, the vendors in the area that I used to get my teeth cleaned and my hair cut and my oil change. I already had invested 103,000 or 5 hours per person in 250 people over the last 20 years of my life. And my failure was to simply do the unsexy work of documenting their name and getting their addresses and then dripping on them frequently. If I would have started my career that way and just spent the 8 or 10 monotonous hours of making the list and really building my database by typing their names into a spreadsheet and then just dripping on them, I would have saved $103,000 of work. And I would have been working by referral as opposed to all that time trying to earn their trust. So just a huge aha. You can see the lower section down there. A lot less time. So to generate 250 METs in the lower section, it takes 10 hours to build that list. And then you just drip on them systematically. So at $83 an hour, it's about $830 invested. So before we go out and buy leads, and before we go out and do all this crazy stuff that we see our competitors doing and we think is the answer to all of our production issues, before we do all that, let's just capitalize on the one thing that matters more than anything else. And it took me from a headache and workaholism to $44,000 an hour in a business that I own. Let's just stop and spend the 10 hours building a database and then touching in with them with contribution and living by referral. So that's me preaching a little bit. I'm preaching at myself as much as you guys, but I hope that I could dot that I for you. The next thing about the database is just the return on investment. These are just some lead sources that we've had over the years. We have about 21 lead sources in that business. You can see the fourth one down. For every dollar we spend, we receive about 31. So it is a lot higher of a return than the other ones that we've had. And the math works. So that year that we did this, we had about 1,800 people in our database. We touched in with them 5 times a month or 60 times a year. And we got 175 sales of our 350 attributed to that touch program. So about half of our sales in our business was attributed to our touch program. That's 1 in 10 convert. And we've seen that with all of the people we consult with and coach with over and over again. And then all of the other lead sources, the pillars that we put around our database in the community, we found that they return a lot higher because the audiences are already seeing our touch program in their physical mailbox, in their email inbox, in their social media feed, in their voicemail, TCPA compliant, and in their text feed. All right, so the recap is, why does it matter? Because there's pre-built trust. That's sort of the big aha for me. Has the highest ROI of any of our lead sources. 1 in 10 convert, and it amplifies the rest of them. So we're going to talk about blueprints. So how do you run a database touch program? So I'm going to show you our teams. It's evolved over the last 10 years to what it is today. And you're welcome to take screenshots or use any of our material for your own. But there's 3 steps. You got to build your database, which we just talked about. Takes an average age of about 10 hours of sort of gathering the names, addresses, and contact information. Then you got to add to your database. That's step 2. You got to feed it. And then you got to communicate with it and actually touch in with value, which is the part that most people want to see how we do that. So I'll skim through these ones. The first is build it. We don't have to go deep, but I'm going to give you an exhibit at the end of this training that will give you a head start to get 150 people in your database if you don't already have them. And then the usual sources like mobile phone lists, social media, names stored in your email, etc. You'll go through and highlight the ones that you'd qualify as met, or they know you, like you, trust you, and make sure that you add them to your database. The next is just a time block monthly that all of our agents do and our admin on our team does, called contact management. Put it on reoccurring, and in the notes, just write a goal as to the number of contacts you want to add that month. A really easy one would be 1 a week or 4 a month, and you'll get 52 additional people annually added. But we've had clients and customers, our team in particular adds about 300 or 400 a year. So you can go big on that if you want to stretch yourself. And then the actual touches, and I'll show you examples of these. This is super intentional. We see a lot of people just do email touches or a drip on their CRM. There's nothing wrong with email touches or a drip, but so many people unsubscribe to email that you want to make sure that you have a few different types of media that are hitting your database. And we've found over and over again that this is the most effective way to do a touch program, that you do other forms of media than just email. So we do 12 direct mail pieces, 2 types, 6 postcards, 6 newsletters. We do a quarterly item of value, which are a bulkier mail piece, so 4 of them once a quarter. We do 36 emails, so that's 3 a month. And one is a listing email, one's an educational video, and one's an all text with calls to action that drives them to our website. And then 4 client events where we invite them with a phone call and a text message. And you can see those database calls here at the bottom. And that gets us above 60 touches all said and done. So this is an example of our newsletters that we do. When I first started this, it started out with just 1 newsletter. There's 3 rules that we consult with people to make sure to do when you're writing content. And so if you want to write these down, you can. Very intentional about these 3 rules. We never push content out in any of our businesses, all 8 of them, without these 3 rules. It has to be relevant, personal, or local, and preferably 2 out of 3. So no generic canned national content to your database, okay? We want to make sure that anything that we write on our newsletter is relevant, personal, or local. So you can see here it says, what is happening in the Cumberland County real estate market? So that's going to be relevant and local. But an example of a personal and relevant one would be, I did one about, I had a fear of public speaking back in 2015, and I went to therapy for it. And I talked about my fear of public speaking in an article that I sent to my database. And I probably got more responses and texts back from my database on that article than any other article that was professional in nature. So we do like to mix our content up by talking about the real estate market, something that's relevant and local, but also things that are a little bit vulnerable and might touch on something that's important to our identity. We do a postcard as well. We write a handwritten note on our postcards, and it's very easy to laser print them across our whole database. So we just write run note. You can see this one says, happy spring season. The real estate market slowed down from November to January, but spring selling season is here. New client appointments went up in March, but many clients have started their buying and selling process for 2023. If you need a free home value estimate or a guaranteed cash offer, call us at, and then we have a tracking number there. So we can track how many phone calls come off of our marketing pieces. And then 3 emails. The one on the left is a listings email, has a very high open rate. It drives people to our website when they click on those houses. And then a video email where we answer a question about real estate in the marketplace. And then usually this all text one is going to have a call to action with something free in it. So this one had a free home seller's guide that they can download. And then 4 items of value. So you can see this one on the left is Gary Keller's vision speech slides from Family Reunion. You guys all have access to that. The region can get you those slides if you don't have them already. But you can just print out 6, 8, 10 of those slides, put a cover letter on, and let your database know what Gary Keller's economics team suggested we should look out for in 2024. And all that work is done for you by KWRI. It's a really powerful direct mail piece. And it's bulky, so it always gets opened. We do a referral directory with a list of trusted vendors in the community that people tend to keep around the house, like a Yellow Pages. And then we do things like notepads and calendars as well. The last one is our 4 client events. And so we do 2 giveaways. One's the springtime giveaway, one's the Independence Day giveaway. We use these to get people to call in and register on our website, and we can add them permission-based to our database. And then we do a Fall Blast client appreciation concert with food trucks and live music. And then we do the pumpkin pie, pumpkin roll giveaway. We're always able to call our database and send a direct mail piece and text them to see if we can mark them down to come to our client events. Usually on our client events, we'll have 450 people show up. I'll skip over this. It's common sense. It's what I talked about before. What the biggest error I see in database touch programs, and I've been in this trap, is they only do one piece of media, so email only, and or it's very generic content. And so we want to get 3 to 4 types of media delivered in our 60 touches. And we want to do relevant, personal, and local content. There's 6 phone calls. I'm going to give you a blueprint, a copy of something here at the end. It has all 6 of these dialogues in it. People say, what do I say when I call my database? And the easiest one is the 4th one down. So the client event. But the other dialogues are in what I'll give you, so you know what to say. The last thing that I'll mention is that for a lot of people we consult with, when they take their database to the next level, we help them build a nonprofit. And so I built our nonprofit in 2016. And so when we're calling our database, one of our calls is a care call. And we simply ask them a 16-word question. It's like, hey, Brooke, it's Dave over here at the team. I'm sure you've heard about our nonprofit project Lamplight. Just like I ask every year, we're calling to see who do you know in the community with a random urgent need that we can serve. They'll usually pause, and then they'll be like, I remember you guys do that. What is that thing again? And then you get to tell them that because of all their referrals and because their support of your business, for every home that your team sells or you sell, a percentage of that goes to your 501c3. And then you go back to your database once or twice a year and ask who they know in their neighborhoods or social circles who's having financial crisis that we can partner with them and serve. And then the database fills out a little application, eight questions on behalf of their neighbor who has a roof leak, or their friend who was in a car accident, or their cousin who lost their job. And then we get to have the database member come to our office and pick up the $300 check without our team name on it, and give it to them in a card and say, we'd love for you to go deliver this to your friend. You've earned their trust. Send us a text, let us know how it went. And then in our meetings monthly, we can share back with our team members that the work that they do matters. And when real estate's hard, we can remember that it's more than just serving families. We're actually serving people in crisis in the community. And that nonprofit gave over 130 people $100,000 last year. So it can make a big impact. And the referrals just pour in. I mean, the database loves to be a part of sharing and giving back into the community. If you need to learn how to build a nonprofit, we have a 7-step ministry builder video we can share with you. Last thing, and then we're about done, is if you need, you guys did record this, so I'm sure you can get the recording from your region. I'm going to give you this 26-page book right now. I'm going to put a link in. John's actually, I think, going to put the link in the chat for us in a moment.
And if you're driving or on mobile, friends, it's going in the M3 group as well. So don't fear if you don't have a click ready to go. We will get it to you. Don't worry.
Yep. So John, if you could throw that in there for them. And some people ask, we've done these trainings anywhere from 2 people on a call to 170 and 200. Usually there's people in the community that say, hey, I want to use your guidebook that you're going to give us, and then you can self-implement this. Other people have questions afterwards. Just message us on social media and we'll share anything that you want. Other people ask for can you do the marketing? Can we just steal your marketing forever? There is, John runs a business, and the reason I do these trainings is because I'm really passionate about this. But also this is John's business, and he has a marketing team that does a done-for-you product that's about $597 a month. And he does all this for teams and agents all over the country. He's in over 16 states. And so if you have any interest in any of those things, usually there's between 3 to 5 on every call. All you would need to do is go to rootedbc.com. That'll be in the chat. Go to rootedbc.com. You can see it here. And you can, he does free consults 4 to 5 a week. And it's no pressure. He'll give you a lot of value. Even if you don't do anything with him, he'll help you understand how you can supercharge your database and do a better job with it. And the last thing that I want to share with you is this. So this is what John put in the chat. And this is just our gift to you so that you can use it with your agents, or if you're new to the business, this can be your first year in the business. It talks about everything I touched on about why the database matters. And then it shows you how to build it, feed it, and communicate with it. And it literally goes, it's like the easy button. So it shows you exactly what to do to build it. And then it has these checkboxes down here. So a lot of teams use this as their new agent onboarding. and it gives them something to do for like the first 6 months. It'll show you how to feed it, give you an action item, and then it'll show you how to communicate and convert if you don't have a budget like my big team does. And you're just going to start with 36 touches that don't cost you any money. And then it breaks down the 36 touches right here and where to get the content that you want to give to your database, how to do the phone calls, how to do the pop buys, how to do the handwritten notes. And then it gives you those action items right down here and how to time block your calendar to implement this. And then it gives you the exact things to say to your database. These are the things that I said to my database when I was in production. It gives you all the words, how to ask for business, how to love on them and give them value, how to segment your database. And then lastly, that exhibit that I promised you, this is from Bold, actually at KW. So I did not make this. And this will help you get to 150 people minimum in your database. I think that is everything. If you do have a minute, we do a lot of these trainings and it looks very different now than it did before. If you could just, there's 4 or 5 questions on there. If you could give me some feedback, what you liked about the training, what you didn't like about the training, it would mean so much to me to do that. Every time we get your feedback, we change a slide. If you thought something was boring or went too slow, just let us know and we'll make a change so it can be better in the future. And that is all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, just let me know, or you can ping me on social media. And Brooke, I just appreciate you and Jennifer having us on here. And I hope that we gave you some value today.
Our pleasure. And friends, be kind on the survey. Remember, they did an abbreviated quick version for us to come bring some value into the region for us. Don't worry if you missed out on any of the slides or anything. I have all the links. I promise you, they will go in M3. So tag one of your friends who's panicking. And we always have a giveaway, don't we, Jen? We always have a giveaway because
Always. And today is a pretty good one.
Today's a good
probably one of the best we've had in a really long time. So those of you that are here with us still, if the winner is still here, it's pretty good. So we are giving away a ticket to the Foxwoods event for our New England Mastermind and Awards ceremony. The ticket is valued at $299. So this ticket is going to, let me make sure I have the name correct. Catherine Wilkins. Catherine, are you on?
Catherine, are you on? I see her. Look, she's freaking out. Look at her going crazy.
Catherine, unmute yourself.
I just unmuted it. What?
Oh, okay.
There you are.
Congratulations.
Well, I
Which
can't
market
hear
center are you
cheering.
with?
Everybody's cheering in the market center.
We're all
Well,
cheering here.
congratulations to you. I love it. So tell me, is this your first time on? Do you come on often? What market center are you with? Tell us everything.
I'm with Gateway and I'm fairly new and I've been on a couple of times, but this will be my first event I ever will get to go to like this.
You're going to love it and we're excited for you. So thank you for being on our call. We hope you got a ton of value from today and all the other calls. And if David is still on, thank you so much for what you contributed with us. Brooke, I'm going to head off because I do have another meeting I'm late to. So if you want to wrap us up, you go. Congratulations, Catherine.
Catherine, I'll make sure you get connected with Cassie as well after this call. So that way you can claim your ticket. Friends, it pays to stay on even when things go a little weird. Real quick, let me pause this and then we're going to start recording again.